When I was in university, I was studying painting, and in the US, you have to pay your classes each semester, and I had my classes dropped, and I took a welding class, and then I got a book, The Craft of the Japanese Sword by Hiroko and Leon Kapp, and I think that's right. And then I met a man named J.D. Smith, who's an ABS mastersmith, and he taught me from there. So that's when I started making knives and not Japanese swords and things like that. So, yeah. I like looking at the natural world, or some kind of narrative, or some kind of natural element that you may not notice, like a cat playing in the moment playing, or rolling on its back, or bees flying, or animals from nature, I think, mostly. But I also draw a lot of inspiration from the process, the forging processes, and try and incorporate those, because a lot of times in knife making it's forged and you can't see the effect. So I try and keep that kind of hand-worked element in there, something more raw and natural. It's a pocket knife, and I was listening to a podcast, and they had a story about how they found a skull called the Tong skull in South Africa, and it's related to our development as humans, and it's maybe, I think, one of the oldest fossils in the human record. And there was sort of a mystery. They first thought it was he was killed by, or she was killed by a big cat, and there was this this doctor, I can't remember his name, Lee Berger, and he was working at the university, and he examined the skull, and he figured out that it was an eagle who had been hunting him, because they looked in the eye sockets. And I thought that he had a quote that I can't remember about how having a feeling on the back of your neck and looking up, and the reason that you have that feeling is because the Tong child didn't. That's some paraphrase, but something like related to that. And so I thought that was a really nice poetic moment about science, and I hid a skull in the back. It's not quite human, and then there's the eagle, and it's just sort of inspired by that. And then the knife is just a folder. And you can see the elements of the forging process. This is torch cut, and this is forged, and just leave the texture, and then this is texture added after the forging process. So trying to incorporate design and narrative elements together to make a uniform piece is kind of where I live at. And hiding things away in pockets, and on the inside is stones, and so not necessarily related to the narrative, but sort of to complete the design in my own kind of way. It's really nice to be able to meet people from all over the world, because in the US, maybe, or like any place, sort of gets cloistered to local. So it's been really wonderful to see all the different types of work. I hadn't really seen European style so much coming from the United States, and to be able to be in Paris and meet all the people and see all the work has been quite amazing. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.